All right, welcome back to Jim Creates. Today we're going to tap some maple trees as you saw. I always like to start with some nicely sanitized equipment. I do that in a solution of bleach and water, and I use bags and collars that I hold on with the zip ties that you see there. So I always just start with my collar that I've made out of PVC. It's 3-inch PVC. Put it in the bag, and then I fold the bag overlapping almost taco style over top of it, and I found that's the best because I used to wrap the bag up around it from one end to the other, but then if there was ice or anything else in the bag, it would get caught, and this way I have a wide open mouth. So you saw that I took that zip tie and I started it first. I found that's the best, otherwise you end up fumbling around with it while you're trying to hold the bag tight on the collar. So the collars are made, I use a table saw and a chop saw, and I think it's a 3/8 inch Forstner bit and a 3/4 inch Forstner bit to make that keyhole. And then you use the table saw to route the dado on the edge of the collar, and I use the chop saw to cut them to length. I always cut them to length last because it's much easier how can I say, it's much easier to do all the drilling and the dadoing on a long piece of PVC. So there you have it. There's the entire setup. Here we are. We're just ambulating out to the maple grove. Helps to have a kiddo or two along and apparently a cat. It's nice to have somebody help carry. Here's a nice shot of what an example of a maple tree is. You can tell by the bark. It has a nice smooth bark. Some of them are rough. As they get older, they get rougher. It's usually covered in moss, and as you look up at the canopy, it's a nice, full, lush canopy. Here's an example of a tree you wouldn't want to tap. This is an oak tree. You'll see it's kind of gnarly looking bark, and as we look up towards the canopy, you'll see that it's all scraggly. It's not those smooth branches like we had on the maple tree. Completely different type of tree. And coming up here, we have another shot of what we in Wisconsin like to call a popple tree, and completely distinct looking bark on this tree compared to the maple. And then as we pan up towards the canopy here, you'll see there's very few branches on these trees, and they're all sort of towards the top. So once again, just a few different trees that you can kind of see the differences between the maple trees and what else is out there in the woods. Here we are. We're going to start the tapping process. I usually drill in a little bit of an angle, about 2 inches to 2.5 inches deep on the tree. You wouldn't want to go much deeper. You can start damaging the tree. And we put in that piece called a spile. There it goes. Just a few taps. You want it tight, but not too tight. You can split the tree bark. There's Julia's going to grab a little drink. Yum. She loves doing that. And then you just hang your bag. The spiles have a little rim on them that helps to hold in that keyhole. We'll get a much closer shot later. You see a nice canopy on this tree. Tap. There she goes for another drink. Every single tree. We put in about 50 taps a year. It's not a ton, but it does this for what we use it for. And she's got to get a drink out every single one. She's fun. All right, here's a good example of a tree I won't tap. See how it's got this sort of mangled bark on the outside of it. It's not massively healthy. And also, when you look at this, it's not big enough. I can reach around and grab behind my arms like that. I know it's not quite big enough. I mean, on technicality, they have to be about 10 to 12 inches across in diameter, but, here's a good shot at this. I like to put my taps over top of a tap root because that's where most of the liquid's coming out, and you can see we're running pretty good. You're not going to get too much faster than that. You might get up to 4 drips per minute, but I wouldn't expect a lot faster. This tree was going pretty good. There's a good look at that spile and the rim on the spile and how it's going to hold onto the keyhole on the collar. There you go. And that one's dripping pretty fast. It's about 4 drips per second. And that's about as fast as you're going to get out of a maple tree. So there you go. use this as you will. Get out there, tap some trees if you have them, and give it a try. I'm going to be making some more videos about this, and thanks for watching.